Welcome to the Anime Classroom. Today I have an unfortunate confession. As you read in the title, I admit defeat. I was so very wrong about Winter Girlfriend. Winter Girlfriend is such a flawed anime in so many ways. I've complained about Ruka. I've complained about certain scenes in the anime. And I just have to finally contend with, I've argued on behalf of Winter Girlfriend for a long time. I finally have to put up my hat and say that I was entirely wrong about Winter Girlfriend. I gave the Winter Girlfriend a solid 8.2 after season 4. And truly, this anime has some of the worst scenes in any anime I've ever seen. However, it also has some of the best scenes I've ever seen out of any anime, and I was wrong for giving it an 8.2. I have to give Winter Girlfriend a 9.8. I think it may be the best romantic anime ever conceived. It is under Bunny Girl Senpai to me, but only barely. I spent the last week or so rewatching the whole series, and when I say week I mean 2 days, right? It doesn't take me long to watch a series, and I have to say that watching it as a whole has changed my mind. I was way too harsh on it. I don't think, let me tell you what I mean by this so you guys get the full thing. As you guys know, last year I spent the whole year watching romance anime because it was the one genre in anime that I could not say I was an expert on. I ended up becoming a huge fan of romance anime. Maybe it's because of my sad, pathetic, real life love issues, but to tell you the truth, there's something so wholesome and so nice about most romantic animes that I wish I could find a real love like this someday. But with that being said, let's compare some of the most famous romance animes. Up till 2024, no one really knew what Bunny Girl Senpai was, at least not in my circle of friends, other than me, of course. But it started to make a big splash in 2024, which is incredible. Good for it, right? Another series that I think is important to bring up in this conversation is Quintuplets. It's known as one of the best romantic animes of all time, and rightfully so. It was such a great story for 3 seasons, 2 full seasons, and a movie. It kept us on the edge of our seat, and even if I got to see it after it ended, so I was able not to get fully invested if my girl didn't win. And by the way, my girl didn't win, but I was happy with the ending, and the ending fit, in my opinion, even though Best Girl didn't win. But a lot of people started hating it after the reveal happened, and I don't agree with that. I think that was silly. But it's still considered one of the best romantic animes. Love is War is iconic romantic anime. Everybody knows it, and it is an incredible show, but it has some flaws to it. But it's incredible too. I would never knock it. I would give it a high score. Maybe I'll review Love is War afterwards. But I have seen it. I just haven't reviewed it or even thought about a score for it. So maybe I go brush up on it. There is a couple of cockatoos. There is Romantic Killer, which was only 1 season. Netflix, you better fix that. There was My Love Story, which is an incredible 1 season. It doesn't need any more to it, but it was incredible. I highly recommend that for anyone that wants to see a good romantic anime. Loves My Love Story. It's incredible. There is My Love Story with Commodore 999, which I love very much. But other than Bunny Girl Senpai, I'm placing Winter Girlfriend above all of those. I mean, it is only second to Bunny Girl Senpai, and I'm telling you now, it's probably going to surpass Bunny Girl Senpai. Bunny Girl Senpai is gonna end next year with a movie. And then there's no more Bunny Girl Senpai except for maybe short stories. The author has conceded that they might write a few short stories, and maybe that will continue into a new full-blown manga, light novel, whatever. The author is not committed to doing that, but maybe those short stories get so popular that that happens. But as of right now, Bunny Girl Senpai is officially ending next year, while Rent a Girlfriend continues on. And on and on, just like Frieren. We're going on an epic journey to see where this romance will take us, and honestly, I'm all in for it. I am all in. I do have to say, as far as, even though I put Bunny Girl Senpai on a higher platform right now, I do have to say I have had a more cathartic experience with Rent a Girlfriend than most people. I mentioned my love life was a train wreck before, and a lot of the girls inside Rent a Girlfriend, actually, their stereotypes actually fit some of my ex-girlfriends quite well, so I kind of see it. I had a Chizuru in my life who I adored very much. I had a mommy who was very manipulative in my life, and that relationship turned out okay. After years and years of on and off dating, we decided just to be friends, and it turned out to be a very good decision. And then I had a Ruka in my life. I can't say that I had a Sumi, but I might have had a Sumi in my life. There's a particular person in my mind that I can think of that could be a Sumi, but I never got confirmation if she liked me back the way I thought she did. But anyway, all these girlfriends inside Rent a Girlfriend are actually very stereotypical of girls I've actually dated or had relationships in my life. So for me, it kind of hit me hard on this. I'm not gonna lie, it's almost uncanny like that I had these types of relationships. And I'm not saying I rented anyone out, but their personalities are very close to my ex-girlfriends. That kind of hit home, but I didn't rate it high because of that. I mean, remember, my rating for Rent a Girlfriend hit between 8.1 and 8.2 for a long time. This anime really stands on its own, even if you don't have that connection, right? There is all kinds of romantic anime that you can point to is incredible. And I'm gonna say, if Rent a Girlfriend is not in your top 3 on that list, then you're lying to yourself. You have totally bought into the lie that Rent a Girlfriend is not good because of the premise of renting a girlfriend. And I'm gonna tell you, even if you don't believe in the rental girlfriend, and I had to do a lot of research to convince myself that this was okay too. After I did my research, I felt a lot better about it. I wouldn't do this in real life, and no, I do plan to go to Japan next year, and I do not plan to rent a girlfriend. But at the same time, I've seen a lot of great unbiased stories for Rent a Girlfriends. I've seen undercover, like, people go undercover and see what it's really like, and they found it to be wholesome and nice. So I kind of believe, after reading so many accounts and stuff, I find it like this is a bias that's rightfully in place, but it's a bias because you don't know anything about the culture. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, don't get me wrong. I don't believe in buying time with someone, but to get over a breakup, I have been I've had my heart broken a lot, and being able to, I guess, how should I put it? If it was an option back when I broke up and it was culturally acceptable for me to do so, and if I did it, I could see how this would have helped me. This is often looked like therapy for most. They take it as therapy in Japan. And this would have actually probably helped some of my heartbreak, where it took me 2-3 years to get over in some cases. I don't want to condemn people for renting a girlfriend. I think that a lot of people who love Rent a Girlfriend knock it on YouTube because it's a popular thing to do, and you guys can all have your little clubs and, you know, tear it to shreds. But the proof is in the pudding. As soon as Rent a Girlfriend Season 4 ended, Season 5 was announced the very same day. Just like Apothecary Diaries was announced the very same day, just like a bunch of really popular anime gets announced the very same day as the last episode of the season. That's how you know how popular Rent a Girlfriend is. That's why I can't believe all this hate I hear on YouTube, is because I bet you 90% of the people that hate this series on YouTube love this series. And maybe they just love to complain about it, but they love the series. And someday they'll admit it to themselves. But I think Rent a Girlfriend, when everything is all said and done, I think Rent a Girlfriend is going to be the best romantic anime ever conceived, ever made, and it's never going to get the credit it deserves, because a lot of Rent a Girlfriend's fans are secret fans, not outwardly fans. And I would never say that anyone should watch this series if they're under the age of 18. The really bad scenes in the series are really bad. The really great scenes are probably the best in all of anime. And I'm going to touch on this real quick because I think it's important. I think Rent a Girlfriend right now has the best music out of any romantic anime ever. And whoever chooses to put that music in, you just get better season by season by season. Season 4 was your masterpiece. The way you placed the music in and the moments you chose to do the music, that's your masterpiece. Season 1 and Season 2, you can kind of see them feeling it out. Even Season 3 got better, but again, you're still feeling it out. If it was just Seasons 1, 2, and 3, I would still say the same thing, but Season 4 has utterly convinced me that there is no romantic anime that has better music or placement of music in their scenes. Every moment that important scene happens, you have this banger of a song, whether it's Chizuru's, song, or another character's song, or something like that. It's just this banger of the song, and it makes the moment hit that much harder. Like, it moves me, okay? I highly recommend Rent a Girlfriend. It will probably be a 10 out of 10 after everything's said, even with its flaws. And it does have a lot of flaws, but I think because of the impact, I'm going to have to give it a perfect score. That does not mean it's a perfect anime. And I'll give you an example how my scale works. Naruto, for example. My favorite anime of all time, and a 10 out of 10. Why did I give it a 10 out of 10 if it has flaws? Naruto has more flaws than most anime on the planet, but it's also one of the longest running anime on the planet. For example, one of its major flaws is it has more fillers than any anime on the planet, even more than One Piece, believe it or not, because Boruto is 90% filler. So I just have to say that Naruto gets downscored, but then for everything Naruto does right, it outweighs any flaw that it has. In the very same way, Rent a Girlfriend, even though it's very, very, very flawed in moments, and I'm not going to say pacing, because I don't think the pacing is flawed, even though a lot of people would disagree with me. There's a lot of scenes that doesn't need to be in there, but it does illustrate Kazu's growth throughout the series that they are in there, and even though I wouldn't rewatch it, I'm kind of glad that we can see Kazu's growth, right? Do it. Like, for example, there is one scene 49 seconds into Season 4, which made me sick that they put in there. But at the same time, it shows that Kazu took 2 steps forward and then 1 step back, and then continued to grow after that. And this is almost like a real-life symphony on, a person's growth, if you could say. Also, Kazu and Chizuru's growth together is almost better than anyone in any romantic anime. I would only, you know, Bunny Girl Senpai has the same type of growth, but it's not as drawn out. So I'm gonna say that Chihiro and Kazuha's growth is gonna probably impact me more when everything's said and done. They both have different flaws, and they make each other better, and they're both each other's pillar of strength, which is what anyone would want in a relationship. They are, as Grandma Sayori said, they are each other's perfect match, and you can see it in the show. Not because they're perfect, but because they make each other better. And I can't say anything. I'm probably gonna glaze this series. This is a glazable series for me. This is Winter Girlfriend. I'm gonna say now, it's gonna hit my top 10. And I do have to find a place for Bunny Girl Senpai in my top 10, but I wouldn't be surprised when everything's said and done that this will be higher than Bunny Girl Senpai. Alright, thank you for so much for watching. I did not mean for the video to be this long, but I felt very passionate about it after rewatching the series. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you want to pretend to keep hating Winter Girlfriend, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Bye.
Any girl would be thrilled to be in my place today. You know, I bet you're gonna land your ideal girlfriend real soon.
You think so? And you know what's ideal to me? I don't know why I responded like that. Or why I said what followed, but when someone I care about is hurting in front of me, I can't ignore it just because I'm their client. I'm just not wired that way. Well, I'll tell you if you're curious. She's pretty, fashionable, and kind. What's more, she knows when I'm not at my best, and she calls me out when I need it. She can be a ticking time bomb herself, but she rarely goes off. And her smile, the most beautiful in the world. When she's sad, she cries a little. But usually she prefers to stay strong. Even when she's in crippling pain, she never lets it show. She doesn't sweat what she can't control, just moves forward. She lives her life turned up to 11. She's my rock more than I am hers. Having her beside me gives me strength. Even when she's hurting, she does her best not to take it out on anyone else. When she's with me, she always puts on a smile. But when the pain gets to be too much, she can trust me and cries. She was so fragile. I'd never seen that side of her before. I imagined she'd cry a little, but she had so much more to let go. My heart broke with every tear, and I hurt for her more than I ever have for anyone else.